All right, I don't have a lot of time here. The light is running out quickly here. And what I'm about to share with you, though, has the potential to shave 5 strokes from your game. Not if you're an 8 handicap, but if you're an 18, it really does have the potential to shave 5 strokes from your next round. You might have to make a couple of putts inside 5-6 feet, something like that. But this is going to help you get the ball so much closer when you're chipping around the green. So if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, enable alerts, all that stuff. Drop a comment. I try to reply to everybody. If you want some free lessons to get started, go to facefirstgolf.com. So what we are talking about here is the BLT setup. So everybody is hitting these chip shots around the green way too high. The goal in this situation, and let me just walk it off real quickly here. 13, 14, 15. Okay, so 16. So we have 16 yards here, okay? And I'm going to give you a formula of figuring out exactly what club to pick and where to land it. So, but first we have to talk about this BLT setup because this is super important, okay? And this is BLT stands for ball in the back, weight on the lead foot, and shaft of the club tilted towards the target, okay? BLT, ball in the back, weight on the lead foot, shaft of the club tilted towards the target. And the reason that we make these adjustments is because we want to take loft off of the club and we want to hit down a little bit, lead with the hands a little bit here to avoid that typical problem that players have with this shot, which is hanging back and flipping. You can chunk it or you can blade it when you hang back and flip. So BLT is our setup here. So we're going to put the ball in the back of our stance. We're going to put that weight on that lead foot and we're going to tilt the shaft of the club towards the target. And now when we're making the action of the stroke, we want to make sure that the handle of the club here doesn't work back towards us. Okay, we want to keep that handle out in front here and kind of moving over to this side of our body. This is a great little tool for it. You could just use an alignment stick under your hands, that's fine too. This one's called the Callaway Chip Sticks, S-T-I-X. And it's just a little silicone rubber thing that goes on the end of your grip right here. And the idea with this is when you're making these strokes, after you've taken your BLT setup, when you're making these strokes, this will give you a great visual. You don't want this working back towards you and hitting you in the side here. So just thought I'd show you that because that gives a good visual of that little leading with the hand. So the mistake that everybody makes trying to play these shots too high, everybody does this, and we want to get this ball on the green, rolling like a putt as quickly as possible. But in order to do that, what club do you choose and where do you land it? Because if you're like so many players, you have that issue where you have a favorite club, usually a 56-degree sand wedge or a 60-degree lob wedge, and you hit all your shots around the green. And I always say that you might be good with that club, but so often good is the enemy of great. And what keeps people from changing clubs and trying different things around the green is just that they get too comfortable with one club and they don't know what to do. And you feel like, I haven't really practiced it. I get out there and now I got one shot to get the ball close. Everybody goes back to that club that is in most cases the wrong choice. And this is a perfect example. We just have a little pretty flat, straight up, almost uphill a little bit, kind of little chip shot. So now here's your formula. So when you are chipping with, this is a pitching wedge that I have here, but if you are chipping with an 8-iron, you can expect to carry it a quarter of the way and it's going to roll 3/4 of the way. If you're chipping with a pitching wedge, it's going to carry 1/3 of the distance and it's going to roll the other 2/3. With a sand wedge, it's going to be about 50-50, and we'll stop there. But so what I recommend is picking out one of these shots, and for most players, it's probably going to be this pitching wedge that I have right here, so that you have now 2 shots. You don't have to have every single shot to begin with, but at least you have 2 shots. When you get yourself in this situation, you're not going to hit that sand wedge that's going to hit that high shot that almost, if you hit it solid, you almost always come up way short with that shot if you hit it solid. The other problem with it is that it requires a little bit bigger swing when you have that more lofted club. I can cover all this distance with a super, just really simple little tiny swing, as you'll see here in just a second. But I need to know, where do I want to land this? And this is what, like I said, a third of the distance. You can expect it to carry a third of the distance and roll 2/3 of the distance with a pitching wedge. Obviously, this depends on green speed, slopes, things like this, but it gives you a great starting point because most players aren't thinking of their shots in this way, and you really have to be thinking about, where am I landing this shot? Most people are just looking at it and just kind of going, okay, you know, I think it kind of feels like this to get it close. And you got to break this down to, where am I landing it? What club am I using? How far is it going to roll after it lands? So I walked it off to 16 yards here, right? So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then what? Another foot or so puts me somewhere like this. Now this is, I think, breaking just a little bit left, so I might want to move that right over there. Let me see if that looks right. No, that is way too far left. This needs to be more like over here. And doesn't matter for demonstration purposes here. It doesn't have to be exact or anything. But now I'm going to my BLT setup here, ball in the back, weight on the lead foot, and I'm just making these little, keeping this handle right out in front, taking all the loft off of this. I want to hit this low, and then I'm just trying to land it right there at my tee. And let's see how close we come to getting the right guess and roll out here. There it landed just past, I mean, flew right over the tee. And you can see now it goes maybe 3 feet past the hole. So I carried it maybe 5, 6 inches past the tee right there, and it rolls out 3 feet past the hole. So that tells me our guess there was pretty good, right? So let's try another one here. And it does break left, doesn't it? We see that now. Now I'm going to try to land it maybe just a little bit right of that tee, but right at the, exactly next to the tee right there. And there, again, I carried it a little bit too far. Now it's going to roll out, although, you know, that's a kick in right there. But so you get the idea here, right? This is, so I'm not just totally guessing, I'm breaking this into parts. Where do I want to land this shot? I'm trying to make the most simple swing possible, the most simple setup possible, and kind of the, so there we go. I landed it right at it. I landed it right at it, and there we go. Now we got a 6-incher from this side of the hole right there. But I'm not just guessing, right? Well, I am guessing, but I'm making a very educated guess, right? And so that is something, and so pick a club. Probably a pitching wedge is a good one. If your other one that you like around the green is a sand wedge, pick a pitching wedge. Know that in these kind of normal conditions, it's going to carry about, with that BLT setup, it's going to carry about 1/3 of the distance, roll the other 2/3 of the distance, then you would adjust. Like if this was really uphill, I would pick out my landing spot a little further than 1/3 of the way, right? If it was downhill, then I would pick out a landing spot that is a little closer, and you just make those adjustments, but it gives you a great way to really make an educated guess and approach this shot in a way where you're really looking at your landing spot, and now you can just focus on that landing spot, make your little rehearsal moves while looking at that spot, and just go, how long of a swing is it gonna take with this club to land it there on my spot? So that is an approach that is going to help you, one, get the ball on the green rolling like a putt, and make much less big of a swing, which is going to be less prone to error. The BLT setup's going to help you hit this a lot more solid. Now that you're using a less lofted club, you're not going to have to make a bigger swing. So all these things come together to help you hit it a lot more solid, make a really good guess on where you want to land, and have kind of a system instead of this just being a total guessing game, picking the wrong club, hitting it high, coming up short if you hit it good, blading it sometimes. If you're making too big of a swing, it gets harder to make that good, solid contact. So that's it. So if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, enable alerts, all that stuff. Drop a comment, if you use this method or if you have any questions about it, I try to reply to everybody. And if you want to get started with some free lessons, go to facefirstgolf.com. I appreciate you guys being here. I didn't have much light here tonight, and hope this comes out. I hope I had enough light that the video comes out here when I go look at this a little bit later. And I hope that helps you have a system to get these shots when you really should have a great chance to get up and down closer to the hole.